Welcome to Christ Auto Play. Shroud of Turin, Christ or not Christ. For hundreds of years, they have been selling the public on the idea that the image on this shroud of Turin is possibly Jesus Christ. And so a lot of people believe that it is Jesus Christ as they go out to view the cloth when it comes to their town. So today, we want to prove the Word of God to be correct, that everything is framed by the Word of God. And here at Christ Auto Play, we go by the Word of God. And we know that everything is framed by the Word of God. Now, the very first thing we want to look at with the shroud is that the Word of God says that Jesus Christ was circumcised. If we look at the image on the shroud, we realize that this man is not circumcised. Look just below his hands there. You see his penis? It is uncircumcised. Look at the shape. It is uncircumcised. Look at the diagram here. To the right is a circumcised penis, and to the left is an uncircumcised penis. The image that is on the shroud has an uncircumcised penis. Jesus Christ would have been circumcised according to the law of Moses, or the law given to Moses. And if we look at the shroud just below his hands, his strange looking hands there, we see that he is uncircumcised. So right here we already know, according to the Word of God, that the shroud of Turin is not Jesus Christ at all. And we notice some other strange things. There's a lot of strange things going on in this photo. But right now, let's stick to the Word of God. Even though everything is framed by the Word of God, we notice the two owls sticking out there above the man in this image. But we also notice that on this man's head, it appears to be some horns coming out of his head. And you'll notice in the and this is the negative of the photo, but if we look at the other image, you can see it clearly that there are horns coming out of this man's head. But another thing that we have to recognize that is found in the Word of God is that the Word of God in Isaiah 52 verse 14, it says that Jesus had to be more disfigured than any man, not just in his physical appearance but his clothing. And if we look at the image of the shroud, we see that this man has no clothes on. He's butt naked. So Isaiah tells us here that Christ in his clothing and in his form, he was more disfigured than any man. And so the image on this cloth we can recognize. If we lived back then, we could probably tell you who his mother was, who his father was, who his brothers and sisters were. And he is recognizable. So this man is not Jesus Christ at all. So who is he? Well, if we look at the legend of the horned hunter, which happens to come over there in England from the story takes place around Windsor Castle. And there's a lot of reason why a lot of people, when they're looking at this image, when Prince William came of age, when he became a man, they were like, wow, this man looks like Prince William. And so they began to take the photo of Prince William and the image on the shroud, and they placed them together, and I have to say that this looks like Prince William. Now you have to say, well, is this contained in the Word of God? Yes, it is. Because there is reincarnation in the Bible. There is reincarnation in the Bible. Matter of fact, Jesus said that John the Baptist was Elijah. And he said, if you can receive it, if you will receive it, that this is Elijah, which was forth to come. Now, if we go back and we look at some of these celebrities, why do we see them now, back then, in times past? Why? Because Jesus tells us. He tells us that when they begin to sell their soul to the devil, they didn't do it this year. They didn't even do it last year. When Queen Latifah sold her soul out to do the things that she's doing, she did them lifetimes ago, reincarnations ago. And so as they come back through, as the Most High begins to put their spirit in the bodies again, guess what? They owe their soul, in other words, their mind, to the devil. That's why they do the things that they do. Because the devil, the God of this world, owns their thoughts. He owns their thinking. Why do you think that they're going to come out with that mark of the beast? Because he wants to ensure that he owns them. He doesn't want to give any of them up. So let's go and listen to Jesus explain this very thing to us. And let's see if you can understand it. Because if we just read this, you wouldn't understand it unless we explained it to you. And I'll go through it real quick. This is Luke 9:24 through 26. And it reads, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels." So Jesus is saying, what advantage did Jay-Z have to sell his soul to gain the world? Or Beyonce, or Prince, or Eddie Murphy, or Keanu Reeves? What advantage did they have? Because when they sold their soul, they sold their mind to the devil. And as they are reincarnated, just like John the Baptist was reincarnated, he was Elijah. Just like Elijah came back through, so do these people come back through. You and I have been here before. That's why Jesus said, if you will receive it. You see, you have to understand that you just don't live 70, 80 years and that's it, you're done. The Most High brings you back down into your body. He puts you back in your body. If that wasn't the case, then why did Jesus say this? If reincarnation was not real, why did Jesus say this? Now let's go to Matthew and read the same thing. Matthew 16 and starting at verse 26 through 28. "For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" What do these celebrities give? Because after your mind is being worked over and over again, you live and you die, you live and you die, and you got to come back and do the same thing. You got to perform the same tricks on the public for the devil. What is it that you're going to gain to be cast into the lake of fire at the end? It makes no sense. "For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his work, to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Do you not understand that Jesus Christ died so that we don't have to die? So as we appear to be leaving our bodies, he's putting us into another body. This is reincarnation that he's talking about. You got to understand this. And that's why he said that we cannot be ashamed of his words. That's why it says that in Luke, that we're not supposed to be ashamed of him or of his words. And inside his words is reincarnation. And so as we look at the shroud, we see, one, he is not disfigured, so this cannot be Jesus Christ. Two, he is uncircumcised. He is not circumcised. So this man could not be Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ would have been circumcised. And according to Isaiah 52, verse 14, Jesus had to be more disfigured than any man. Unrecognizable. The Roman soldiers beat him so bad that they could not recognize him. That's how bad they beat him. That was the prophecy on Jesus. So with that, we're going to close Christ Autoplay for the day and hope that you get some wisdom and understanding from it.